Hey everybody, Snigby here from Snigby Gaming, getting ready to do maybe a little bonus content. I don't know if all this will be a bonus or a straight up episode, but noticed up here on my power that I was running a little bit low, so I went ahead and handcrafted a few of the boilers, a few of the steam engines, and picked up a couple of more miners, so we can go ahead and get that going up here as we go forward. For this episode, what I want to do is actually create a bit of a array for some iron and some copper and moving some stone over and actually move it out this way and actually build out a smelter array. So I know everybody's seen that several times. We'll go ahead and get that done. But before I do that, let's go ahead and do this. Zoom in here a little bit. Grab the steam engines. Perfect. Grab a couple of these pipes here. Let's go ahead and put a light in here. Maybe right here, right here. And last but not least, we need a few of these burner miners, or burner inserters. I think I mentioned before I like to use these because they actually will feed themselves, and in case you have a brownout or something like that, they'll start themselves back up whenever you get some coal going. All right. Perfect. We should have plenty of coal going here. And we'll set that up like so. Like I said, I may end up moving this down a ways. If I do, I'll have fits up here. Meh. We'll figure that out later. All right. Smelting array it is.
Do a little cleanup on the way back. I should have left this little setup down here, shouldn't I?
Hey, this is voiceover Snakeby here, just coming at you a couple of days later. Thought I'd run this next little section here at double speed. I didn't do a lot of in-game commentary, so I'll touch base with you over the next little bit here. Here looks like I am making another component to my mall. I'm going to make some miners here. And
require iron plate, gears, and electronic circuits.
Yeah, you tell myself what I need here as I go through. Still learning how to do the belts here. Deciding how I want to run this little miner mall array. Seems to be going okay. Just having to do a lot of edits as I put them in there. But anyway, we'll go ahead and let you watch this here in just a second, and I'll be back with you after I get this array knocked out. Alright guys, so at this point I've decided that I don't need all that iron going south. I only need a little bit of it heading down um, down low. So I'm going to head and ghosting in some miners going up to the north so I can drop these into my smelting array. I'm going to make several trips back and forth to pick up these miners as we go through. Go ahead and eliminate that chest there. And we're going to go and get these set in here. So enjoy this. It'll take me several minutes to knock this out. So if I see something exciting here, and I know if something's coming up in just a moment, we'll visit with you in just a minute. So one of the challenges I've given to myself this time is to actually um, not use any blueprints that I don't create. Hopefully I'll be able to maintain that commitment to myself and run through there. So this is a 4-to-4 splitter. I'm like, hey, you know what? I actually have this nice little challenge here because I've got a mixed belt coming up on the next line. And so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and grab some more miners, get those set up on that mixed area, and let that get cleared off here. So we'll run through this just for a second. What you do with a bunch of mixed miners is basically you set them up like you would normally run your power up through there, and then you run them into a splitter, and you prioritize the filter for the product that you want to go out the other way. What this is going to do is as it picks up a um, piece of iron, it will send it to the right, and all the copper will go to the left. As long as we're not backing up both either the copper or the iron, things should be going just fine. So okay, I'll go ahead and drop off of here, finish up this little mining session, and don't think there's anything major that I'm going to do except maybe relocate uh, a couple of the belts here so I can do the more compact um, placement. So we'll see how that works for us. So at this point, on that coal there, I was actually thinking about just adding it all to the belt up there. Then I realized that I need to split that coal off because I'm going to need some coal for my smelting array here that I'm getting ready to build out in a few minutes. Moving into another 4x4, go ahead and build that out. I like these 4x4s as long as you can remember how you're doing that. Basically, it's a two splitters into one splitter. Uh, you do two spaces, you do another splitter, two spaces, and then a four splitters. That will go ahead and build out the 2x2 or the uh, everything that's running on there. Everything that comes in will be evenly balanced across um, all the belts there. So here again, I'm going to go ahead and build out the smelter array. Um, since I wanted to build everything on my own, I went ahead and instead of trying to do a blueprint, I know this is a very popular smelting array. I've built it several times, but I didn't want to use blueprints in this episode that I didn't create myself. So that's what you're seeing me do here is just work through all of that. Once I do get this created, though, I will blueprint it and move on. I do have to pause here before too long and figure out um, how many belts can go on, or how many smelters can go on a single yellow belt, and then as we move them up to reds and everything else, we'll go ahead and take care of that. But yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and get some spacing down here. Um, decided to go ahead and do four um, copper lines, skip over a couple of spots, do four iron lines. We're going to skip over a couple of spots, and then we're going to do two steel lines, and that should do me pretty well for the first little bit. Now my steel, in the past I've done the four smelter wides, which actually is a very fat build, but I've been watching Neelis do his steel arrays, and we're going to talk about those in a little bit, what they're going to look like, but everything's out there. Now at this point I started thinking about how I'm going to get my coal in here and how I wanted this to kind of lay out and everything. So I just moved some things around a little bit on my ghosts, and I'm going to go ahead and start doing some builds as we continue on through here. So I'll pause again on my voiceover, and we'll come back to you in just a few minutes. Yeah, so there I just realized that, you know what, I need to go ahead and make a little extra room here. So I did go ahead and ghost out what was going on. Here I'm also going to go ahead and build out all of these splitters. I've got them in my inventory, so let's go ahead and lay them down. Probably not the most efficient use of splitters at this stage of the game, but I wanted to go ahead and get that lined out here um, as we move forward. Um, just to basically, next time I need an array, I can just jump in there, uh, drop down some, uh, oh, what are those things called? Some smelters, run some belts and some inserters, and go to town. Yep. Anytime you have a question, always go to factoriocheatsheet.com. Really helps you out for what you're trying to do. Of course, I can't count very well. Probably should have pulled out a deconstruction planner or a cut or something and worked on that. Matter of fact, that's what I ended up doing. Got smart. Okay, didn't have enough. Let's go and put in a few more, and we're ready to go. I guess right there you actually see the value of having a little jumpstart mall. I know I'm not doing any science right now. I really don't have the bandwidth to do it. However, I've got everything researched that I really need to have researched at this point. But because I built out, I spent a little bit of time building out a jumpstart base. Um, I already have the basics that I need: those undergrounds, the belts, the inserters, and the smelters. With this, I can continue to expand what I'm doing from there. And at some point, I will actually be into a regular base where I'm building out a more traditional uh, mall, if you will. We'll go from there. So anyway, we're going to go continue on laying down our electric poles at this point, and we'll be back with you in just a few moments. So at this point, I'm ready to move on to iron, get that ready to go. As we can see here, I've got my copper started without actually putting the copper in there. I did notice on my blueprint that I was missing a couple of inserters, so I went back and fixed that on the previous one. And at this point, I just have the coal going down. Here in a few moments, I'll actually connect up the actual ore, and we'll go through that. Uh, so more of the same. We'll keep on keeping on. My ore here, you're going to notice that I'm going to jump my coal over. The reason I chose to jump the coal is because it's only one belt. It will only take one underground, or one set of undergrounds, if you will. If I tried to jump the iron over, I would have had to do 4 undergrounds. Undergrounds are more expensive than regular belts, so it's always better to do that. Um, Also decided to put some lights in here so we can see what's going on really well. Probably should have put that into the blueprint so they were all standard as we went across here. But we got it taken care of, and now we've got some iron and some copper coming out. Buffers in the past, but I do like to have just a little bit of a buffer on my iron, my copper, and my steel. Different sizes for each, so I'll go ahead and put uh, the copper in. 3, 4. If I had a larger power pole, I'd take care of that, but I don't right now. So we're going to go ahead and just recreate the buffer here, and we're going to go ahead and move on. I think my next little commentary is going to be live, and then we'll see if we have to do more of voiceover in just a second. All right, guys, so there's a basic smelter array. I've got it laid out, planned for 4 of each. So 4 copper, I've got 4 iron, and I've got 2 steel. And I'm going to use the Nelos version of this, where you go down 12, put a little break in there, and go down another 12 for steel. Let's see here. Yeah, let's go ahead and build that one too. Is it 12? Yep, 12. All right, so if I go from here and I capture 24 of those. Nice. Can plop those down right there and right there. We'll save that for a second. And I'll go ahead and build one of these. Okay. So I want to output on the left, but I want to only output coal. And this one is right and only coal. And so what that will do is that'll actually stop the ore going down. Then I want to put a splitter here and bring that over and side load it. The coal's going to be on the wrong side of the belt there. Now I can move this one over one, or two actually. Yeah, let's do that. And then if I do these like so, and again, we want to filter left for coal and right for coal. Yeah, that'll put coal on the outside of the belt. You'll have your steel on the inside. And then if I take this and plop that down right here, you'll get steel coming out there when it's all said and done. So let's see if we can go ahead and do that, make sure it's working the way I expect it to. Need to run over and pick up a few other items. I need to cut down some wood. I'm running out of posts, telephone poles. Or I guess this would be electric poles. Yeah, so at this point I kind of got distracted. Needed to go get some trees so that I could make some power poles, small power poles. Still don't have the research done to get the medium and large power poles. Also don't have the steel out there. I'm actually building that right now. So I got a little distracted clearing up some trees and some rocks. It happens real easy in Factorio. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through all this, and hopefully we'll get back with you at the other end. Let's make sure that works before I get everything connected up here. Okay, that looks good. All right, I think that's looking good. Yep, kicking some steel out. And a little buffer here of steel. We'll only go with 2 versus the 3 I've been doing elsewhere. All right. So looks like I have everything going. This was an hour of recording time. I'm going to make this a regular episode. So everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this content. If you have, please consider subscribing. Give me a thumbs up. I sure appreciate your support. And everybody, this is Sneaky signing off. Have a great day.